Hi, this is Chaz Palminteri, and if you're thinking about getting your eyes done, the only person to see is Dr. Rothman of LASIK of Nevada. I flew all the way from New York to be here, and Dr. Rothman did my eyes. And all I could say is, it's a miracle. I could see. You see Dr. Rothman of LASIK of Nevada.
Broadcasting live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip. It's time to get on the right side of sports betting. It's time for the Odds Couple.
Welcome to the Odds Couple on the world-famous Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard, joined as always by my good friend, the very talented at what? Hell if I know, Anthony Padilla.
Very nice, Scott. It's good to be here as always. Today we'll be talking about how Manti became Lance Armstrong's hero this week, how the Ravens might be one and done, and we will be discussing the most important thing of the week, how Coach John Fox does not belong in the NFL.
Sounds like someone lost some money on the Broncos. Let's attack the line.
I think we should just...
The Baltimore Ravens coming off an impressive upset win against the Denver Broncos last week. They're on the road this week for the AFC Conference Championship game, taking on the New England Patriots. The line for this contest opened Patriots minus 9.5. Early money has been coming in on Baltimore. It's been bet down to 9. Today, it's settled in at 8.
Hey, you know what? This is going to be rough because that 9.5 would have been great to get. You know, and I think that extra 1.5, especially in this game, is going to make a big difference because of the fact you've got two teams that are here to battle. And I always talk about momentum. I always talk about the intangibles. Ray Lewis is looking to retire. He's done at the end of this season, you know. They were done, for all intents and purposes, last week against the Broncos. How they won that game is beyond me because the momentum kept shifting back to the Broncos. The Broncos maintained it, and they just did not want that. John Fox had no desire to win that game. But Ray Lewis continue to light that spark in his team. 17 tackles last week, that's ridiculous. I mean, that is a man amongst giants. 17 tackles last week, 13 the week before. You know, this guy is playing, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen somebody on their way out of the game light it up like this. And I would actually like to see him move on, at least to the Super Bowl. But as we talked about, they're going to have to get past the Patriots. You know, and I don't know. I don't know which Tom Brady's going to show up this week. I mean, he's good, but again, the Patriots have been somewhat questionable this year. They haven't been that real dominant team like we've seen in the past few years. They've shown signs of it, but Gronkowski's out again. Poor guy. You know, this guy broke his left wrist, had surgery on it, and I'm sorry, his right wrist. Broke his wrist, had surgery, was out 5 weeks, came back, broke his wrist again in the first game back, and he had to have surgery again. He's out. I don't know that that's going to be that big of a factor, though. As far as the Ravens go, Joe Flacco can definitely throw the ball downfield, probably better than anybody else in the league. But other than that, I don't know that they have much to offer offensively. You know, he seems to be very shaky, and Ray Rice isn't always the factor he should be. I don't know. I think that the Patriots are going to win the game. 9.5 would have been great. I don't know about the 8.
Baltimore Ravens late in the season lost 4 of their last 5 contests. They slipped from a number 2 seed all the way down to a number 4 seed. In the playoffs, they beat a very overhyped, overrated Cincinnati Bengal team last week. We all know they won in double overtime. They ended up winning 38-35 at Denver as a 9-point dog in that contest. Wow, crazy finish to that contest in regulation. The fact that the Ravens, facing 3rd and 3 at their own 30, 70 yards away, no timeouts, 2 plays away from going home. Flacco flung the ball out there, 70-yard touchdown catch. The DB for the Denver Broncos, the free safety, very, very upset, as well he should be. He really let his team down. Well, the Ravens taking on the New England Patriots in this contest. New England, tough challenge for any team to come into New England, Gillette Stadium in January for the AFC Conference Championship game and win against Tom Brady and the Patriots. The fact is, Brady is 17-6 in the playoffs. These two teams did play earlier in the year. Baltimore won at home Week 3. It was 31-30 after the Patriots blew a 9-point lead in the last 5 minutes of that contest. Well, let's attack this game, attack the line. It went from 9.5 to 9 today. All the money has come in on Baltimore. Respectfully, I don't have a strong opinion on this game, but you as a sports bettor beware of what it opened, where the money's coming in, but I do have an opinion on this next game. The Niners in the championship game taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The line for this game opened 49ers on the road, favored by 3. Early money has come in on San Fran from 3 to 3.5. Today it's up to 4. It's 4 pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. First of all, that Seattle game last week was just that game went back and forth all the way down to the wire. Obviously, that was a lot of fun to watch. But this, you've got the same dynamic. You've got a running quarterback with Colin Kaepernick, and this guy, man, he's the real deal. I kind of questioned him going into last week, and he just came out ready to play. I mean, to beat Green Bay the way that they did was something I don't think anybody was really expecting, not in the fashion that it happened. And San Francisco is really clicking on all cylinders, offensively, defensively. They've got a great passing game. That's the thing that really, I think, makes Colin Kaepernick even better than a Mike Vick, because he not only has the running ability and the escape ability, but he's got a big league arm. He can throw the football, and he throws it well. This guy, he's got a lot of good years ahead of him. I think he's really saved Jim Harbaugh as far as benching Alex Smith, because he's made him look great. And I don't think they have to win it all to continue to make him look good. I think he's shown what he's capable of. But as far as playing the Falcons go this week, Atlanta lost that game last week. I mean, they blew a 14-point lead. They were leading the whole game, and they kept letting Seattle come back. Well, in the second half, they let them come back. And Seattle took the lead. They should have won the game. Atlanta really looked worried. Granted, they came back, and Matt Ryan looked good on the last couple of plays. That was the game-winning drive. They're not going to have that chance against San Francisco. San Francisco, I believe, is going to come in and just put them away. That 4.5 definitely is better than the 3. I think San Francisco's going to win it by a touchdown.
There are no 4.5s out there. The line everywhere is 4 today, San Francisco. All the money's come in on San Francisco, which is interesting to me because I've actually gone on record as saying I think and I felt during the course of the regular season that the Niners probably were the best team in the NFC, but I don't know what that meant simply because they were going to have to be on the road come the moment of truth, and here we are. NFC Conference Championship game, they're taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Is there any team that has been less respected the entire season than the Atlanta Falcons? Small market city. Everyone talks about the fact they were 0-3 going into this year's playoffs, but the fact of the matter is, under Matt Ryan, fifth-year quarterback for the Falcons, 0-3, but the fact is this team lost to 2 teams that went on to play and win the Super Bowl, and the other team that they lost to went to the Super Bowl. So it's not like the Falcons were favored by 7 or 10 or 14 points. In fact, 2 of those 3 games, they were an underdog, and they were a small favorite. So the idea here is the Atlanta Falcons are something ridiculous, 35-5 or something like that, at home with Matt Ryan as their QB. For the record, no team in the conference championship has ever been favored by more, a la the 49ers are, on the road against the number 1 seed for the conference championship game. This line is overvalued. I'm not afraid. I'll attack like I have all year. The Atlanta Falcons plus the points. See the cashier.
Now, this is actually an interesting week of games because in both of these situations, those games could have gone the other way last week. We had Seattle and Atlanta. Again, Seattle was losing that entire game. They came back. They took the lead with 34 seconds left. They kick off. Matt Ryan has 26 seconds, 2 timeouts. Somehow, in 2 plays, gets them into field goal range. They kick a game-winning field goal. That's why Atlanta's playing again this week. Opposite game. You've got the Ravens and the Broncos. Broncos dominated that entire game, beginning to end. Somehow their secondary gives up a 70-yard touchdown pass. And when that happened, I mean, if anybody saw that play, like that guy, that's the type of play where you lose your job. That's a big money play. John Fox has Peyton Manning as his quarterback. 30 seconds left in the game, 2 timeouts, and he decides to kneel the ball and go to overtime because he said we were stunned. That's insane. You're in the playoffs. Sure enough, they go to overtime. They have 2 possessions. He throws an interception. They lose the game. So both of these games could very easily be, the teams that are sitting at home right now.
It's a good point because in basketball, you play the best 4 out of 7. The idea there is, generally speaking, the better team will win. But in football, that's the appeal of the game. 1 bad quarter, 1 bad game, and you're out. More times than not, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes will win. The Atlanta Falcons, I like this team because we talked about it last week. They set a record this year, the least penalized team in all of football, only 415 yards. They don't generally beat themselves. They don't have a lot of penalties. They don't turn the ball over. I say that, and yet last week, uncharacteristically, 2 big INTs. The Falcons led by 20 points. I had the Falcons minus the 2.5, liking it, loving it. Imagine I wake up on Sunday morning, the line everywhere was a solid 3. So the wise guys, the sharp bettors, all over the Falcons at home, minus the short number. Big difference between 2.5 and 3. Remember, key numbers, big difference, no difference. I mean, there's a difference between 1 and 3. 2 was an absolute dead number, so don't worry about 2. Well, it fell 30-28, and I lost by a hook, but my good buddy, and I use that term loosely, Anthony, wins by the hook. Dr. Hook strikes again!
Hey, I don't care how I get it, man. I will take that half point.
A win is a win.
Half points. That's it. A win is a win. And speaking of wins, it is time to get to the Patriots wheel, a.k.a. spin to win. Today, as you know, we've got the beautiful wheel where we've got 2 teams on it. This week we have the Ravens taking on the Patriots. The Patriots, once again, are favored by 8 in this game, and that's down from 9.5. Scotty and I are both forced to take a team, make an argument for that team, because as you know, the smart better bets with their head, not with their heart. Unless you're Scott Pritchard, then you just bet on the Patriots. Let's go to the wheel.
Scotty's got the Ravens, baby.
This is going to be tough. The Baltimore Ravens, I'm going to make a solid argument as to why this could be a good bet. The Ravens plus the 8 points. Again, this is a rematch. These 2 teams played for the AFC Conference Championship a year ago. In that game, the Patriots were favored by 6 to 7 points. They ended up winning by 3, 23-20. But the Ravens, they had a great shot to win this game. Lee Evans dropped a touchdown pass in the last minute, and then Cundiff missed a field goal that would have tied the contest, a 32-yarder. So these 2 teams know each other pretty darn well. Brady, believe it or not, he's struggled a little bit against the Baltimore Ravens. They did play earlier this year, week 3, 31-30, the final score. Baltimore won at home. But the idea is these 2 teams are basically, New England at home, so solid. Revenge comes into the minds of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, people that love the Ravens' chances, I was on the Nick Bonsanto Nationwide Sports Show this week. He loves the Ravens, plus the points, says they're a team of destiny. I get that. They're a feel-good story with Ray Lewis, his last hurrah, 30 tackles in the last 2 games. As a professional sports bettor, I don't buy into teams of destiny. I buy into value and points oftentimes mean more than opinions. I'm a dog player. Underdogs are oftentimes undervalued. Baltimore plus the 8, it's a good bet.
Yeah, either way, man, these, once again, are set up to be a couple of good games, I think. Enjoyable to watch for sports fans like myself, and miserable for bettors like yourself who spend the entire game sitting at your computer.
It's a lot more fun winning than it is losing. Yes, sir.
All right, well, we're going to go to break, and we're going to talk about who's really winning here.
Are you going to share your argument on the Patriots, or are you just going to skip that part of the show? The Patriots, we're in the middle of a segment here.
I understand. I figured what was the point. I know that was hard. That was hard enough for you to do that whole deal with the Ravens. We already know how everybody feels. Do I need to? Patriots are going to win. That's it.
That's it?
That's it. I said it earlier.
Wow, you're a man of few words.
All right. Now, here's the thing. This is tough, and I want you to listen close. I understand I have the Patriots, okay? But in terms of what we're talking about here, it's 8 points, and that is a lot. And you went back to last week, and you actually went against the Patriots, and you went with the points because it was 10. You said that was lofty, and then they won by about 76.
13.
Right. Okay. Well, close enough. You understand, though, a loss is a loss. 13-76, same thing, because you can't cash the ticket.
Yeah, I didn't lose less because it was close.
No, you lost the same, but you lost. But I won on my game, which is why you need to understand in this game, 8 points, like 10. It's not double digits, close enough, especially with a man on a mission. I know you don't buy the destiny thing, and you don't have to. It doesn't mean they're going to win the game, but if you're betting to win the game, then maybe they have a shot. If you're betting with these points, New England's going to win the game by 5, by 6. The Ravens are going to stay in it. They beat them in week 3, 31-30. So it's not like the Ravens don't have a chance here, you know. And Ray Lewis isn't going to be the reason they win the game. Joe Flacco could be the reason they lose the game. But really it comes down to what the Patriots do. If the Patriots come out explosive and they maintain that, I think they'll wear down the Baltimore defense, because let's remember, Baltimore had to play in Denver last week, and that was a battle. And that's not an easy place to play or keep your wind. And to have to go from that to New England back-to-back weeks, these guys are spent as it is. So if New England is able to capitalize on that, then I think it'll be a blowout. But I don't think that'll happen, because I think that's going to be the component that's going to keep this a close game is the Ray Lewis factor.
I look at how these two teams match up. I think it's going to be interesting, because the strength of the Ravens is running the ball. As good as the rush defense is for the New England Patriots, to be effective against New England, you have to pass the ball. That's good news if you like the Patriots, because Joe Flacco, I don't believe in the guy. I'm not going to go overboard based on one fluke lightning-struck play at Mile High Stadium a week ago on a 70-yard touchdown pass with 30 seconds to go in the contest. So I think that the strength of the Ravens, their rushing game with Ray Rice and Pierce, plays right into the hands of the New England Patriots. And we know that the Patriots have outscored the Ravens for the season by 160 points. Everyone dogs the Patriot defense, but listen, they've given up less points than the Ravens.
But the interesting thing with that is it doesn't matter what the point difference is. They're playing in the same game, and all you have to do is win by 1. That's my insight.
Thank you, Confucius.
Very good, right?
All
yeah,
right.
Thank you. Yeah. You know what? What's interesting to me is that Flacco is so good at throwing the deep ball, and he's really inconsistent at throwing the short and mid routes that so many other quarterbacks are.
Yeah, it's a small thing called accuracy. It's a concern.
No. It's not accuracy. I mean, because it takes generally people who can throw the short and mid ball. See, now you don't understand this because you don't watch the game. Guys who can complete these passes, generally have a hard time throwing the long ball. This guy is great at the long ball in any situation and can't throw the little 10-yard routes. Doesn't matter, whatever. I'll be watching. You'll be playing online. Little freestyle while you're making your bets.
Maybe.
Right. Little pie gal on the computer.
Exactly right.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to sit here and talk about computer games. Please come back right after this break. We're here on the Vegas Video Network. You're watching The Odds Couple.
Oh, hi. I'm Kelly Clinton. That's stuff. I wonder if Joan Rivers is watching. Oh, please. Oh, my God. Who cares? I don't have a different one. You know who watches this show? Wayne Newton.
You got that right, Kelly. I think you're absolutely beautiful and talented young lady. 5, 6, 9, 12. Talking shit.
More camera time for me. Hey, I wonder if Cher's watching.
Oh, please. I have so many other things to do.
Woo! Hi, I'm Kelly Clinton. I'm the host of Talk Tales, and you're watching the Vegas Video Network. That was horrible.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on the world-famous Vegas Video Network. My name is Scott Pritchard, joined as always by Anthony Padilla. We would love for you to reach out to us here. A number of ways that you can do so. Email us at oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's oddscouple@vegasvideonetwork.com. Also, we would love to have your voice on our show. Go to our site, and on the right-hand side, a red bar, click there. Middle of the page, you see it right there in green, highlighted, start recording. Also, we field live chat questions, so again, anything that occurs to you, anything you want to know about in sports betting or the world of sports, feel free to dial in a live chat question. If you do miss us live, it's okay. You can reach out to us, Vegas Video Network, iTunes, YouTube, Roku. Every Saturday, the show is rebroadcast on KSHP AM 1400 radio. Now, before we get to Are You Kidding Me?, I'm going to talk about Pritchard's Plays hedging. What is it? What does it mean? Last week we talked about, well, all season long, if you've been tuning in and paying attention, and I know you have, I've been singing a song about the New England Patriots, having them at 5-1 to win the AFC Conference Championship. And even when they started out 1 win, 2 losses, 3 wins, 3 losses, they've lost 1 game since. But the fact is, even then you could not find a 5-1 on the Patriots to win the AFC Conference Championship. Now, Anthony is always busting my chops that I'm in love with the Patriots, but the fact is I bet numbers, not teams. And I can put a number on any team if you're going to give me specific value. So all things being equal, the Patriots are 5-1 to win the conference championship. Today, on the money line, they are minus 420, 440 to win the conference championship, which means you can get anywhere from plus 350, 375 on the money line on Baltimore. So it presents a perfect hedge opportunity. It's a good problem to have, a good concern to have. I have not done anything at this point. The key is you don't want to hedge too early. If I choose to middle this game, meaning hypothetically, let's just say I have $10,000 on the Patriots at 5-1 to win the conference championship. If they win and they're an 8-point favorite on Sunday, that means hypothetically I would get $60,000 back, net profit of $50,000. Now, do you take the Baltimore Ravens at plus 350, plus 375, plus 4-1? The idea here is that you can take the Ravens plus the 8 points and hope to middle it, knowing that if the Patriots win by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 points, you win with the Ravens, you have plus 5-1 on the Patriots. Or you can forget the point spread and just take the Ravens on the money line at plus 375. The idea is you have New England at plus 5-1 and the Ravens at plus 375. What do you do? I'll let you know next week. When it comes to sports betting, you don't have to look far to find frustration. Frustration sits next to me every single Friday.
Now, hold
Are
on.
you kidding me?
Hold on, Scott. Hold on. Before we get to that, just because we might have some viewers that may not be entirely familiar with everything, because you just brought up some very good points, especially because you have a certain play in your pocket on that game. What is hedging?
Hedging
for people who don't know.
Means, did you leave and come back? Did you not hear what I did? Hedging presents an opportunity to where you can guarantee yourself a profit no matter what happens. The idea is if you have the Patriots at 5-1, now you can hedge your bet by betting the other side. Am I talking too fast?
No, hey, I'm just saying there might be some people out there. I just want you to explain it for those people who generally tune you out at the beginning of when you're talking and let you re-explain, because that's a very good point.
I know the viewers are well educated and they get it. So thank you.
And it's not a Patriots song you sing; it's a Houston Texans song that you sing.
And the song is ended.
Yeah, you want to sing it one more time?
Houston Texans, Houston Texans.
Are you kidding me? That's it. That was it. Are you kidding me? No, it's not. We've got a bigger issue at hand this week. We have, this is close to my heart. Manti Teo, whatever. I don't want to mess up your name because it's with all due respect, but I've heard it both ways. Manti Teo, linebacker, former linebacker for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, getting ready for the NFL draft. There was a huge story back in September that, I forget, I believe it was September 11th, he received a call saying that his grandmother died in Hawaii. 6 hours later, he received a call saying that his girlfriend, Lene Kekua, passed away from leukemia. She had been in a car accident. She was in the hospital. Out of the hospital, they found out doing tests that she had leukemia, and she ended up passing away same day. Huge story. Notre Dame played the next day. They won the game, very emotional game for Manti. It was all over ESPN. Every possible media outlet covered this. They interviewed him. They did stories on it. Well, it came out this week that Lene Kekua, Manti Te'o's girlfriend, doesn't exist. She just doesn't exist. She never existed. There was never a real person, and it was a fake girlfriend. Here's the worst part. Manti Te'o had no idea. Now, there's a lot of jokes about, people have seen her, sitting in chairs. They've seen her in restaurants. I believe they saw her entire family at a show here in Vegas. And, obviously these jokes are going to be made. Actually, she joined us on the set earlier this season. There she is with me here on the set. And look, Manti, this is what you're going to get, man, for a long time to come. So I hope that you were ready for this, because NFL guys do not play around. All right? So if you think this is going anywhere, you've got another thing coming, brother. Now, look, you didn't know she existed? I understand that. You met her on the internet. And shame on anybody for shaming people who meet people on the internet. Because if we had to break it down, I'm sure that I've talked to a handful or two of women online that may have been men or otherwise that you just don't know, all right? And I am not the only person that's gone through this, but that's the reality of the world we live in today. Unfortunately, you learned it the hard way. Why this happened, no idea. They're saying that the guy who is apparently behind this came out today and said that it started out as a joke, and I think what happened is it got away from him. It got too real because he was messing with someone in the spotlight. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to be really difficult for Manti to get away from this. And really, I want to leave this open to my buddy Scott. If anybody is in the business of fake girlfriends, it would be my co-host, Scott Pritchard. But Manti, look, man, you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to suck it up. You're going to eat a lot of crow in the upcoming season. But your name will live on in the infamy of this. And people won't forget you. But, well, if you ever existed, Manti Te'o, are you kidding me?
I realize it's a big story, but wow, you are really engulfed with this.
Hey, man, I understand there was nothing for you to bet on with this story, but it's it is an entertaining thing. And at the end of the day, this is a 22-year-old college kid who met a girl online, and I mean, people joke about it. The joke existed before this story. You know, as far as the chicken and egg, the joke was already there. Be careful who you talk to. You never know if it's going to be a 48-year-old creepy old man. Well, it wasn't that. It was just a guy who created a girl, and then they continued to have phone conversations. Like, why didn't you ever try to meet her? Fly her to a game, something, you know? So I put a little bit of blame on him for going through this. But, yeah, you can't bet on this situation. But actually, that's an interesting thing, now that I bring it up, because you, I believe, were contacted by the Huffington Post, which, if you don't know, the Huffington Post is one of the, if I believe it is the largest online newspaper source read by millions, and they contacted you with a question about this non-existent betting story.
It was interesting because yesterday afternoon, out of the blue, the Huffington Post did reach out to me. They wanted to get my opinion on this story and if it affected the point spread for the national championship game between Notre Dame and Alabama. And first of all, as a professional sports bettor, I don't get caught up into the drama, into the stories and this and that. But it's like, hey, if the Huffington Post calls and wants your opinion, I got real busy real quick. I started doing research and calling Anthony, hey, what's going on with this Te'o character? But the idea is it was pretty cool because they had me and 3 other people with differing opinions on if it potentially played into the national championship game. From a handicapping standpoint, it's an emotional issue. How do you handicap this? Did his players rally around him to show support, or was Te'o just too emotionally distraught and they were distracted? How do you handicap that? All I can say, in my point of reference in the internet TV show, the Huffington Post yesterday, had to do with the fact that there was a line move on this game, 2 moves in fact, that went from 8.5, 9, 9.5, and right before kickoff, about 20 minutes beforehand, all the wise guys hammered Alabama. Sportsbooks do not want to move on and off 10. They had no choice. It closed Alabama minus 10. They killed Notre Dame in the contest on the field, 28-zip at halftime, 42-14 final score. I was on the under 42. It closed 40.5, liking life, loving it, getting a 1.5, the best of it, only to lose. But again, I don't know if you can handicap that kind of information.
I think it's an interesting question if anybody knew about it, but nobody knew about it at the time. And there's a lot. Again, this is one story, but there's a lot of stuff that all of those guys are going through. That if you're going to take a story like that into consideration, then you got to take everything into consideration. You know?
There are a lot of things that will determine a line move more times than not in a big, high-profile game, whether it be the Super Bowl or the college football championship game. In football in general, it'll be a major injury that just came out, or someone being suspended, or adverse weather. So any of those things generally come into play. We're going to keep it moving right here on the Odds Couple Vegas Video Network. This is the part of the show where Anthony and I together put money into your pocket as we together put you on the right side.
All right, this week, the right side for me, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens heading to New England, taking on the Patriots in Foxborough. Once again, Patriots are favored by 8 in this game. Before I touch on this game, I want to go back to last week, who I believe for about 45 minutes on a 30-minute show, you told me that I was wrong in my bet taking the Seahawks at Atlanta.
I was backing up to a conversation that we had weeks ago when I said, hey, man, keep an eye on the Falcons. They're disrespected. And you said the Falcons this year, like every other year, will get beat in the first round of the playoffs.
And I also said that they were not as good as their record.
They did not lose, okay? You said they would lose straight up, but the line came out. You took the 2.5. You shouldn't be bringing this up because there's nothing to brag about. You took plus 2.5 on Friday. It closed on 3 on Sunday, so why would you compromise a half point? Taking plus 2, you won, congratulations, okay? I lost, okay? That's what really sucks about this. But if you're getting a half point, the worst of it, off a key number, long term, you're going to get buried. But I'm happy that you won. Not so happy that I lost,
however,
but congratulations.
We do this show on Fridays, so let's keep in mind that half point that was added by Sunday.
Well, that's why was that, though? It's because the whole world saw what I saw.
Found out about Manti and it affected the betting aspect of
and the
every
Huffington
NFL
Post
playoff game.
calling you. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Now, back to this, but I did win.
Yes,
I had
a
winner.
Yes, you did.
I'll take it by the half point.
Absolutely.
Now, going to this week's game, look, we've already covered this game, and I think it's pretty simple. You've got a great Patriots team. They're playing at home. They've been here before. You've got a Ravens team who's hungry, if for nothing else, to get Ray Lewis back to the Super Bowl. Try to get him a ring on his way out the door. And it really comes down to how Flacco and that offense plays more so than what the Patriots are going to do. I don't think the Ravens have it in them to win this game, but I do look for a good game. But that 8 points it's really tempting. So the right side for me, once again, we've covered this game extensively today. The right side for me in this game is the Ravens plus the 8. Even I'm trying to go with the Patriots. The Ravens plus the 8. That's the right side for me this week.
Before we get to my right side for this week, I do want to recap, although I think it's been touched on many, many times. Anthony was right. I was wrong. He's good. I'm bad. This week, Niners on the road taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Niners are favored by 4 points in this contest. The last time the Niners won a road playoff game, January 1988. January 1988, the last time the Niners won a road playoff game. How do I know that? I was there. Soldier Field, Chicago, wind chill, minus 28 degrees. I took my dad. I said, Dad, isn't this great? We've got the Bears -3. They lost by 25. 28-3, Joe Montana and the Niners went on to play and win in the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons, disrespected. They're the Rodney Dangerfields of professional football. I've made good money betting the Falcons this year. I love non-sexy teams. They have a winning point spread record, 35-5 at home with Matt Ryan. I do have concerns with their defense. It's a big concern. What kind of a game plan did the Green Bay Packers have defensively against the Niners? Oh, that's right. They didn't have a plan. 45 points. Colin Kaepernick. I respect the Niners. Frank Gore, good running back. But guess what? Marshawn Lynch of the Seattle Seahawks, a stud running back. Guess what? 16 carries, 46 yards against the Falcons. Kaepernick is the key for the 49ers, and the Falcons need to step up defensively. But 4 points is a bit happy. The 49ers on the road, indoors on turf. I know it's a small sample, but the fact is Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers 2-2 on the road when Kaepernick is the QB. Well, let's take a look at this. History has a way of repeating itself. Let's take a look at what the Niners did with Kaepernick in domes on the road. 1 win, 2 losses. They played the Rams twice, didn't beat the hapless Rams either time. One game was a tie. The other game they lost straight up. I think this game is a bit happy. I was watching one eye on the computer, one eye on the game Sunday when the Seahawks were down 20 in the fourth quarter, 27-7, or 20. It was 20-0, and then 27-7 in the fourth quarter early. And I saw the line open in the islands, Atlanta -1, -20. But as every time Seattle scored a touchdown and got closer, the line kept moving. -1, -20, -2, -20, -2.5, -3. The game ended 30-28 Atlanta. It went from 2.5, 3. 3.5, 4, 4.5. Now money's starting to come Atlanta's way. I like the Falcons plus the 4. See the cashier.
Man, I cannot help but sit here and picture you and your dad and that third seat you had to buy for your big computer and your brick phone sitting at Soldier Field so you could do the stats during the game.
Thank goodness they didn't have cell phones in 1988, and thank goodness they didn't even have, or at least I didn't have, a laptop computer.
That's why I said you had your big computer. It wasn't a laptop. That was just a regular.
Right.
Oh, man.
I see. Well, that's going to wrap.
We'll slow the show down for you, Scott.
You
if we
need to
have
do that. You need to do that.
Scott will be picking up on these jokes next week, so make sure you tune in.
What do you have going this weekend?
Hanging out with some Invisible Girls, and no, I don't know. I've got a great show over at LVH. You love talking about it every week. Once again, Grandma Lee is still here with us. I don't mean alive. I mean actually still here with us in Vegas. She's a little dainty 81-year-old woman, cute as can be. She was on America's Got Talent. She is the dirtiest comic I have ever witnessed, and she's great though. She's very, very funny. She's very sweet. Please come out, check us out. That's pretty much it. That and watching my winners again on Sunday. What do you got?
Actually, you can check out my plays every day on VegasInsider.com. College football this year, I ended up with 61% winners ATS against the spread. About 1 million hits a day, views a day on VegasInsider.com. My plays are also posted on my site, Pritchard'sPicks.com. That's going to wrap up this edition of The Odds Couple on the Vegas Video Network. For Anthony Padilla, my name is Scott Pritchard. Have a great weekend. Make lots of money.